Regrets are the result of neglecting what matters most. Anyone who is honest, humble, and loving will have regrets. The question is, what do we do with them? The question is, what do we do with them? What choices are we going to make today so that we reduce the chances of having regrets? And what does that look like? On this episode, we are talking about how to have the most incredible fourth quarter of your life. And it's okay if you're not in your fourth quarter, you're still going to get a lot of value out of this, because in this episode, we are talking about how to have the most incredible fourth quarter of your life. And if you're not in your fourth quarter, you're still going to get a lot of value out of this, because we are going to talk about how to not have regrets, how to truly become the best version of yourself, no matter what age you are now. And if you're wondering, hey, I don't know what quarter of life I'm in, we will help you out. I will help you out right now. If you're age 1 to 20, you are in the first quarter. 21 and 40, you're in the second quarter. 41 to 60, you're in the third quarter. And then 61 to 80, you're in the fourth quarter of your life. And if you are older than 80, guess what? You're in your bonus years. It's bonus time for you. So no matter where you are, you're going to gain value in this conversation, because we're going to dig in a little bit to Matthew's workbook, The Fourth Quarter of Your Life, Embracing What Matters Most. So Matthew Kelly and Alan Hunt wrote the book, No Regrets. And along with it is this beautiful workbook, The Fourth Quarter of Your Life. And in it, it's really the roadmap to having the best fourth quarter of your life. And like I said, no matter what age you are, this is going to help you. This is going to help guide you. This is going to help you become a little bit more intentional about you becoming the best version of yourself, which is really what Matthew has spent decades of his life doing, is helping people become the best version of themselves. In this book, there's a section called Mistakes and Regrets. He says, we all make mistakes. We make poor decisions for any number of reasons, sometimes because we don't know what we don't know, and sometimes because of selfishness. These mistakes can lead to regrets. Regrets are born when we allow ego and selfishness to rule our hearts. Regrets are the result of neglecting what matters most. Anyone who is honest, humble, and loving will have regrets. The question is, what do we do with them? The question is, what do we do with them? What choices are we going to make today so that we reduce the chances of having regrets? And what does that look like? Matthew shares this story about how he was doing some consulting work at a large hospital, and they were implementing the Dream Manager program. So obviously they were talking a lot about the nurses' dreams, and he had spent a lot of time with a group of hospice nurses. And during that time, he was asking the nurses, when people are dying, what do they talk about? And the nurses told them that they talked to them about how they wish they had lived their lives differently. What are some of the regrets that they had? And here's just some of what the nurses shared. I wish I'd had the courage to just be myself. I wish I had made spirituality more of a priority. I wish I hadn't spent so much time working. I wish I hadn't spent so much time worrying about things that never happened. I wish I had taken more risks. I wish I had cared less about what other people thought. I wish I had loved more. I wish I had been a better spouse. I wish I had stayed in touch with old friends. I wish I hadn't spent so much time chasing the wrong things. I wish I had touched more lives. I wish I had lived more in the moment. Which of those resonates with you? There's way more in the book. I just shared a few, but even just reading those makes me feel so emotional, because these are very common regrets. These are the things that we hear so often, especially when we talk to people in their fourth quarter or their bonus years. Matthew goes on to share, these are the regrets of dying people, people who were out of time. Each regret contains a powerful lesson for those of us who are still living, an invitation to make the most of the time we have left. We may all accumulate regrets as we journey through life, but there are ways to make amends and to make peace. It is possible to die without regrets. It is possible to die without regrets. It is possible to die without regrets. But how do we reduce the chances of having regrets? We have to be intentional. We have to create and hold ourselves accountable to a plan. Things don't just happen. I mean, look at this list. Look at this list of, I wish I hadn't spent so much time chasing the wrong things. I wish I had lived more in the moment. I wish I had touched more lives. If we want to accomplish these things, then we have to be intentional about it. This stuff doesn't just happen. One of the chapters in the book that I love so much is this 25-year plan. He gives you the outline to create your 25-year plan. And I know sometimes when we share this with our clients, they say, oh, this is overwhelming, 25 years. But man, could you imagine? What would you do if you had this book in your 20s or even in your 30s or your 40s, right? I mean, no matter what age you're in, these are such powerful exercises to do to make sure that you are truly living the rest of your years intentionally, to know that you are truly achieving all the dreams that you want to achieve and doing what it is that you are meant to do while you are here. Some of our clients, they've almost lost some hope. They feel like there's no more time. They feel like some of the regrets that they've had, it brought them down so much, and they don't feel like they have the power to change things. But if you're still here and you're watching this or listening to this, you have the power today to make a different choice, to be more intentional, to create that plan, to start focusing on the dreams that you see for yourself, for your family, for your future. In another chapter, Matthew shares your fourth quarter virtue. He says, our lives only genuinely improve when we grow in virtue. The virtue of patience improves our lives. It improves our relationships. It improves society. 2 patient people will always have a better relationship than 2 impatient people. The same is true for generosity, perseverance, compassion, humility, and courage. Growing in virtue leads to both personal and spiritual expansion, which are the hallmarks of human flourishing. What virtue do you want to focus on for your fourth quarter? Or no matter what age you are, maybe you want to focus on a particular virtue this year or over the next 12 months. What does that look like? What virtue do you want to focus on? And have you ever even thought about that? I mean, how many people are in the world thinking about how they can improve a virtue? But when we do that, when we become intentional, think about how many areas of our lives will change and get better because we're focusing on one particular virtue. In the book, he shares a list of virtues. So what virtue do you want to focus on? Is it faith, hope, love, kindness, generosity, self-control, humility, patience, courage? Courage is one that comes up a lot, especially in the leaders that we work with, and having courage. When you look at that list of regrets, it takes courage to live the life you want to live. It takes courage to not care what others think of you. It takes courage to pursue your dreams with all of your heart. It takes courage to step in and become the person that you know you can be. What virtue do you want to focus on? Now, those are just a couple of the sections in the fourth quarter of your life workbook. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do, because as you can see, it truly is a roadmap to helping you live the rest of your life. No matter where you are today, you have the opportunity to make a different choice for tomorrow, to create a better future for yourself, to decide that you are going to pursue your dreams. And we work with so many people, and fortunately, we get to help them dream again. We get to help them rediscover some of the dreams that they've had in their heart for many years. And finally, they're going to give themselves permission to start, to say yes to their dreams because they finally believe that, as Matthew says, your dreams are yours for a reason. What are you doing about them? And so we're recording this and it's May. And whenever you're listening to this, today is your opportunity to say, all right, I am creating this plan. I am holding myself accountable to the plan. We all know how quickly time flies, which is why I so appreciate the 25-year plan. I appreciate how Matthew Kelly is so intentional about being a decade thinker and thinking way into the future. Because when we do, it helps us stay focused on what matters most. And it also helps us stay hopeful, especially during some of the seasons in our lives that can be a little bit more challenging than others. I hope that this episode inspired you in some way to either jot down a dream that you have or come up with a virtue that you want to work on over the next 12 months. Or maybe you're going to create your 25-year plan. I hope it inspired you to do something, to take action in some way. And maybe that action is, you know what? I have been talking about this for years, and like so many of us feel like, oh my gosh, the years just fly by and all of a sudden we just cannot believe that it's December and then January again and then the middle of the year and our years just go so quickly, and we have to be very intentional about the way that we spend our time. And so maybe for you, I discovered that I need some support. I know now that I am not going to hold myself accountable, and I need someone to help me, to guide me along this journey, to help hold me accountable, and even just to have that encouragement from someone, from a coach that really wants to see you grow, to really want to see you make progress in your life, to achieve the dreams that you want to achieve, so that you don't have some of these regrets that so many people have at the end of their life. And so if you are interested at all in coaching, we do fourth quarter of life coaching, which is amazing because we actually use this workbook as our guide. And so you're going to get to have all of those sections. We will help you fill all that out and then hold you accountable to making sure that you stick with this beautiful plan. So if you're interested at all in that conversation, you can go to q4coaching.com, check that out, and someone on our team will contact you. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. And until next time, lead with culture.